Original sword skills are really cool, and I'm going to explain to you why. Original sword skills, otherwise known as OSSs, is a really cool and interesting mechanic introduced during the Mother's Rosario arc of Alpha Online. Despite that, from talking to people, it seems like a lot of people either don't fully understand them or even know about them at all, which to be honest is a real shame. I hope that by the end of this video you guys not only know what they are, but also maybe enjoy the series a little bit more for it. So, without further ado, let's get on to the main topic. Originally, Alpha Online during the Fairy Dance arc didn't feature sword skills. The sword fighting was all done off the cuff, with magic playing a much more prominent role in the game, as opposed to Sword Art Online, which didn't feature magic. However, after a new company bought Alpha Online sometime after Korea released the seed, they implemented some of the features from Sword Art Online, such as Aincrad and sword skills. The latter of which can first be seen during the Caliber arc. At first, there was a decent number of vocal players not very happy about it, as they were worried about the balancing issues and magic becoming more redundant. But all the naysayers were very quickly silenced as they all experienced the thrill that came with performing such a flashy, complex skill. Now, it's one of Alpha Online's most popular features. Additionally, some things were also added to the sword skill system to improve it. Some examples are elements and of course the original sword skills, which is what this video is about. An original sword skill is just what it sounds like. It's a sword skill that you as the player have made that is unique and only you possess. They can be as flashy and as long as you desire. It could even be a 100 hit attack if you so wished. This was a very attractive prospect, as in the game the longer sword skills did the most damage as they had the most attacks. Using a sword skill in a fight was already taking a risk, as if you didn't gain a definitive advantage after using it, then the momentary stun and sluggish effect after using it could mean the end for you. So, having longer sword skills that allowed you to counter shorter ones and deal more damage helps evade potential drawbacks. Of course, most of the game supplied skills aren't super long, so obtaining original sword skills can give you a significant advantage. The process of getting one isn't as easy as it sounds, however, as making original sword skill is a very difficult process. To make one, the player must first come up with what they want the sword skill to be, i.e. the moveset. Then, they activate the record function in the sword skills menu. From there, they are required to perform the move they have just come up with. Once it's done, they hit end on the recording. There is a catch, however. The move has to be performed to the same speed as if you had the system's assistance. There also absolutely cannot be a single slight mistake in the move. In addition, the skill can't be too similar to the default ones already in the game. This is to prevent people skipping, grinding, or hitting whatever requirements in order to unlock those skills in favor of just remaking them in the sword skill system. In other words, your performance of the skill has to be pretty much flawless in its execution. This meant that the longer the move was, the harder it was to make, as you had obviously more room to make mistakes. If any of these conditions are not met, then the original sword skill will not be accepted and won't be made. You are basically required to perform a move that is near impossible to perform without the system's support, but without the system's support. There was only one way to overcome that barrier, and that was repeatedly practicing the move innumerable amount of time, until your nerves completely remembered the series of actions. However, if you manage to overcome this barrier and make one, the reward is definitely worth it. The skill can be infused with up to 2 elements, it looks extremely cool, and it gives you a good edge in combat. They are also worth quite a bit of money for reasons I will explain in a bit. Once it's made, you can invoke it just like any other sword skill, which is by assuming the initial position of the skill. To put into perspective just how hard these things are to make though, even Asuna, who is one of the most skilled and top tier players in Alpha Online, struggled a lot to make one. It took her several months of endless exhaustive practice before she finally managed to make just a 5-hit original sword skill. However, the process was so draining that she ruled out making another one completely. As you can imagine, for most players this was quite the hurdle. A lot of players were not able to overcome such requirements and just gave up, meaning that original sword skills were relatively rare, especially ones that were 5 hits or more. Sword skills were transferable though. Because the skills were relatively rare, players were selling them for top dollar. Dojo-like places were even established for selling these skills to anyone that could afford them. Skills that were 5 hits or above, however, weren't really sold that often, as the few players that could craft such a skill often didn't put them up for sale, or if they did, it was for ludicrous prices. These players were usually the top players who valued combat edge over money. Plus, they most likely already had a good sum of money anyway from being a top player in the game and grinding it so much. Currently within the game, there are 6 original sword skills that we know about. In order of the lowest hits to the highest hits, it goes like this. The Starry Tear skill, which is the 5-hit skill mentioned earlier that Asuna made. The Volcanic Blazer skill, which is an 8-hit skill created by General Eugene, which was thought to be the strongest OSS until Yuki came along and made the 11-hit Mother's Rosario skill. The other 3 original sword skills that Kirito made for dual wielding. When Alpha Line reintroduced sword skills, they didn't include the dual wielding skill. Kirito has been trying to manually remake all the skills himself. As of right now, he's only managed to remake the basic ones. He has attempted to remake some of the more complex ones, such as Starburst Stream, but so far he's been unsuccessful in doing so. Thank you for watching this video, it was a ton of fun to make. I have a few more videos planned, so make sure to hit that subscribe button to find more content on any of my interests. Goodbye.